Hello. I'm Ashley Offret, and I am posting my Post About Yourself video for my Communications 175 class. So some things about myself is that I've lived in about 3 different states, but the place that I really call my hometown is San Antonio, Texas. I am a computer information technology major. I love playing the violin. I love playing video games and any outdoor activities that are available. I am the oldest of 4 children, with my 3 younger brothers, 2 of which have autism, so that makes for very fun family dynamics. So some interpersonal relationships that I have is one of which is my best friend Cece. She and I have been friends for many years, but you can pretty much say that we're opposites on the, I guess, introvert-extrovert spectrum. She tends to unknowingly dominate a conversation, and me being very introverted and naturally shy, I feel a bit left out of the conversation. And so it makes me feel more left out, and I don't feel that I can talk to her as much as I would otherwise. So it's very difficult for me to have an interpersonal relationship with her, but thankfully we've been able to overcome that obstacle, and we are still good friends to this day. But one person that I've had that it's much more easier for me to communicate with is my old physics teacher, Miss DeWitt. Now, she's very strong-willed and very strict in her class, and she's always very clear on what she wants us to have, and she doesn't take excuses, basically. However, one thing that she does communicate to us is that she wants us to tell her if there are any situations or issues that are affecting our schooling. And basically, this allows her to understand and accommodate her lessons, and they help those who really need it. And so basically, she makes her points clear, but she's lenient to where needed. And because she made sure that we understand that, it's much more easier for me to talk to her and have a relationship with her. And so some examples of where I've had to do public speaking include, well, I guess all of us had to do a talk in church. And for being a young teenager, I felt that I did pretty well on most of them. But looking back, I realized that I only did about a few hours on my talks, and they mostly consisted of me having anxiety, and it wasn't really my best work. So if I had just given myself more time, and I could have created a much better talk, and I could have had a whole lot less stress. And last year, I had a calling as a family history consultant, and I was assigned to give a lesson about 3 times on how family search works. And my first 2 lessons, I was very tense, and I had followed my plan that I had prepared to a T, but I was not flexible at all. But my 3rd lesson was much more productive, and I was much more flexible and lenient, and we ended up spending much more time on a specific topic where the students really needed to understand what was how it worked. And if I had done the same in my other 2 lessons, I realized that I could have been much more productive in those as well. And for my last example, in my sophomore year of high school, I ran for secretary in my math club. And no one was aware of this, but we had to give a small speech on why we should be chosen as the officer that we wanted to be. So most people just winged it, did the best they could, and just let the flow come, just let whatever happen. But knowing me, I don't do very well without practice. I outlined a speech and just gave it. Unfortunately, to me at least, I did poorly. I stuttered a lot, I repeated some sentences quite often, and thankfully I was able to get the position. But I realize now that if I had more time to work and to practice on my speech, I would have had much more confidence, I wouldn't have stuttered as much, and it just would have been a whole lot better. So that is my Post About Yourself video, and thank you for listening.